Hey guys, Metal Jesus here, and I'm back again with my good bud, Radical Reggie. What's up, dude? It has been a while.
It has, and I am ready to show some really cool pickups. We have gone like to the Game On Expo.
Yeah.
Found some good games there, and then just picked up some good stuff off of Whatnot too.
A new Nintendo console has come out.
It has, the Switch 2, which I'm excited about for you. And,
I'm going to show that in this video. So, all right, let's take a look. All right, dude, who goes first?
I'm going to go first because I got some stuff for you.
Okay.
And one of the things, Jason's, his favorite system is the PS2.
Yeah.
Over the years, So he has some PAL games here that he's had a hard time trying to play.
It's such a pain in the butt.
So Carlos from Project Retro Games wanted to hook you up with the Radical Reggie PS2, which is not region locked, so you can play anything on this thing.
This is so nice to have. This is one of the consoles, like when you got the test system, I was so jealous because it does unlock all the regions and all that stuff.
It opens up a whole new world of games for you. And that, like back then, like I was playing all these survival horror games I never played. It was just amazing. It blew my mind. So, I think having a PS2 region, that's not region locked is amazing for anybody who's a PS2 fan.
Yes.
And I'm glad you collected some games for the PS2. So now you have easy access to them.
And actually, I wouldn't mind collecting more, but I kind of stopped because it is such a pain in the butt to do. So this is awesome. Thank you so much. Very cool.
But that's not it, man. We got more for you. Of course, our friends at Bitmap Bureau wanted to keep you laced up with Xeno Crisis. Here is the collection, Bitmap Bureau collection. So that's Xeno Crisis, Final Vendetta, and also Battle Axe, which is that one is the hidden gem. Like people need to play that, talk more about that game. That game's amazing. But man, keeping you laced up with
Dude, this is so cool. Okay. Yeah, it's funny. I have every other version of Xeno Crisis other than these two right here.
It's kind of crazy because the other versions have become more like rare or more expensive, so they wanted to do a re-release so more people could get the games and play them.
Well, they're great games. So that's the thing, too, is having them on modern systems like the Switch and the PS5, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
And also...
what? There's more?
There's more, man. We got Video Games New York Soft wanted to hook you up with some stuff. And here is... still wrapped up here. This is... Oh, wow. Let's get that open here. There we go. That is one of their newest releases. Popslinger.
Popslinger. Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
So,
musical shooter inspired by 80s and 90s.
Yeah, I had no idea about this game, and they were really excited about this release, and they even did a vinyl for it. Which,
I'm a big fan of vinyl, buddy.
I know. I believe this is their master for the vinyl that Dan was telling me about, so they wanted to give that to you.
It's a test vinyl.
Okay. Test vinyl, okay.
Yeah. So what this means is that, basically, so these are often extremely collectible. Okay. Because essentially what they do, it's my understanding, is that when they're going to be mastering a vinyl, they have to do test runs to make sure that there's no weird, scratches or dips or whatever in it. And so... these can be extremely collectible, especially for bands like Led Zeppelin and easy stuff. So, that's really cool. I don't have any test vinyl, so
are you gonna open it?
I don't know. Ask me later.
And here's some more stuff here. I don't know if you have this game, but a Stellar Interface.
No,
it's another shoot 'em up that they put out.
Oh, cool! Wow, that's a really cool cover, isn't it?
Yeah.
Huh.
And
wow, all right, it's like my birthday or something.
Also, they got you the cassette tape and the CD soundtrack.
The cassette tape, that's hilarious. Yeah. Wow, dude, that's so awesome.
And this is Rick Henderson. That's another game they have. That's a soundtrack for that as well. So
wow, dude. Okay, that was cool, you guys. Thank you very much. It's so awesome.
Right on.
All right. Well, a little gift to myself, I guess, was the Switch 2. So this is the brand new Nintendo console. Everybody, of course, knows about it. By the time this video comes out, you've probably seen 3,000 videos on YouTube about it. Yeah. And I kind of wanted to spend a little bit more time with it before I cover it deeply.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. However, you and I spent some time playing it last night, playing Split Fiction, this game right here.
Yeah, Split Fiction is freaking awesome. I wasn't going to give the game a chance, but after playing it like last night, I was like, yeah, I gotta get it, man. This is fun.
Dude, we didn't want to put this game down. It's a co-op game, and it's really cool because you basically play as these two authors that are kind of joined together in this kind of simulation world, based on their imagination.
And it's crazy because you're going through all these genre of games that like a lot of us are familiar with. So like for us, like, me and Jay was like, it was very nostalgic. Like, whoa, it's like a PS2 game, PS3 game. Like we knew immediately like what we were playing. So that in the games in the parts that we were in, they don't overstay their welcome.
They're not super long, and it throws a lot of curveballs at you. Like at one point, we went into and we turned into pigs.
Yeah, that was funny.
Because she, one of the authors had, when she was a child, had thought of this game or this story of pigs. And it's so cool because you have certain abilities, I have certain abilities, we have to work together in order to get through the levels. Now, this is not exclusive to the Switch 2. I just happened to pick it up on that because I planned on picking it up, but I thought, Reggie's going to come over. Yeah. We're going to mess around with the Switch 2. This might be kind of a fun game to play.
And these are the same makers who made a game called A Way Out, which I think that was the first game which had this co-op feature in it. And another game was called It Takes Two.
Right.
That was the one before this. That was another good one as well, I hear.
I haven't played those, but based on this one, I'm like, man.
Yeah, you got to definitely go back and look at them, man.
Yeah.
Really fun games. Awesome, dude.
Yeah, and so as far as the Switch 2 goes, obviously, again, a lot of people have talked about it at this point. I'm very happy with the purchase. Basically, it's just a more powerful Switch, you know, and so you're able to play a little bit more modern games like Cyberpunk and things like that.
Quick question to ask you, like with the Switch 2, I mean, your Switch 1, like, are you going to still use that maybe?
I think actually I'm going to retire my Switch 1 because there's really, as far as I can tell, there's no real reason to use the Switch 1 because the backwards compatibility on this is so broad. It covers almost every game and they perform better. So
really?
Like certain games, actually quite a few games will have higher frame rates, faster loading times, things like that.
Higher frame, so like, is there like unlocked frame rate?
It all depends on the specific game.
Okay.
So some games do have unlocked. Like I believe The Witcher 3 might or something. There's a list of games out there that were programmed for the original Switch.
So the developers, I guess they just put that feature in there just in case, maybe.
Well, I think they probably that's a feature that often happens on like the PC side of things, because they don't know exactly what kind of hardware you'll have, and so they will have unlocked frame rates. And so, on the Switch 1, they didn't have to worry about it because just getting 30 frames per second sometimes is difficult.
Right.
But there are games out there that do have unlocked frame rates, and when you play them on here, suddenly you're getting much better performance.
Dude, I want to play World War Z on the Switch 2, see how it plays, because that game's like has a lot of stuff going on, so it might be actually pretty cool to play that one.
Yeah, and so that's the thing about it. So I really have no complaints. Some people have said, well, it's disappointing because it's not as they're not doing as many innovations with this one. But on the same token, you can argue, well, we've been buying PlayStation 3 to PlayStation 4 to PlayStation 5. Those are just more powerful.
Yeah.
Xboxes are just more powerful. When you buy a new PC, it's really just more powerful.
Yeah.
So Nintendo is, I think, playing it a little bit safe here by just making it more powerful, pretty much. But, I can see why people are probably expecting a little bit more from Nintendo to do something kind of crazy and wacky. Instead, we're just kind of getting a Switch Pro, essentially.
Yeah. Okay.
But it runs really well. I like the bigger screen, all that stuff.
Well, that'll be nice to kind of run some of the older games I have on it to see how they play. So
that's the thing, is that even if there isn't a better performance option, the screen's bigger.
Right.
So I will want to play those games on a bigger screen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then also you were telling me that it automatically uploaded your Switch stuff once you signed your account.
It was flawless, actually. It was really nice. So when I first logged into my Nintendo account, it was doing it all in the background. Like all of the purchased downloadable games that I had just automatically came here. Even when it was in sleep mode, even when you're in a game. It was actually, again, it was pretty nice. And the eShop is way more usable.
Really?
Oh.
Easier to navigate, all that good stuff?
Well, it's just faster.
Okay.
I mean, it's like 3 times as fast. You know, yeah, because it was kind of a nightmare to use before. It was so slow and laggy, and that's completely gone here. So
excellent, man.
So I'm happy so far with my Switch 2 purchase. So it's going to get a lot of love, and I'll probably do a video in the future covering some of the accessories because I was sent a bunch of accessories with it. So yeah, I just want to mess around with them a little bit more.
Right on, dude.
Yeah.
All right, so next item I want to show here, something pretty big. Something I showed on the channel a while ago, but this is the collector's edition. This is a Rival Megagun limited collector's edition.
My head.
Dude, yeah, and this is from First Press Games. I believe they still have these in stock. But Rival Megagun is a game that it's a shoot 'em up that's very similar to games like Twinkle Star Sprites, a co-op, like a versus shoot 'em up, I would say, like Vertical. We talked about Twinkle Star Sprites on the channel like years ago, but I've never seen a game like kind of follow up that style until Rival Megagun. Actually, my buddy Cag is the one, I believe, he told me about this game because he looked up some more information about games like Twinkle Star Sprites, and it blew me away. This game is a lot of fun. It's tough, but it keeps you hooked, and I love it. Developer did a great job making this game. And yeah, just overall, it's really impressive. First Press Games, when they do get their items out, man,
that thing is massive.
I know, dude. I'm like, dude, what is in here, man? So I did an unboxing video on the channel and everything. Like, this comes loaded. Like, this is definitely like a collector's item for like a super fan.
Oh,
like,
dude, that's huge. That's cool. Yeah, that's next level of collector's edition for sure.
Have you played Rival Megagun before?
It sounds familiar, but I don't think I have an actual copy of it. But I'll have to see. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it with this game. You know, awesome shoot 'em up.
All right, and the big collector's edition. That's cool. All right. Lately, I've been spending some more time on Whatnot, just kind of farting around, looking at different sellers. And a guy was on there selling just random PlayStation 5 games. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to watch this stream and see if anything strikes my fancy. And this game popped up, and I was like, okay, I don't know anything about it, but it looks like something that Reggie would be into. Have you heard of this? Infinitum?
I've seen this cover. I've seen a lot, but I didn't know about the gameplay of it. So
so it is a first-person survival horror game, and it basically takes place back in World War I. You play as a German soldier, and it's really trippy because it's got 2 parts. One part of it is in his childhood home, and you're going through this creepy mansion, and you're basically doing a bunch of puzzle solving. There's definitely some weirdness. You're getting a lot of backstory there about his parents and kind of the drama that happened in his family. And then it goes into this nightmare World War I scenario where he's in the trenches, he's in battle, and you're battling these really weird creatures. And yeah, this would be right up your alley, I think, for sure.
What's crazy because you're talking about World War I. The big threat everybody was scared of in World War I as a new weapon was the grenade. So now
and trench warfare was brutal, right? And also gassing and all these things that they did. So this actually deals with all of that, but from the German perspective. It's pretty interesting.
Okay, so like as a survival horror, because I feel like a lot of survival horror games they go with first person more than like third person. How do you feel about this one? It's not too beat up like with the genre with first person.
I mean, I like first person games, and I play a lot of first person games, so I do like. This game is not perfect. I will say it's probably like a 7 or 8 out of 10. I would say because like, to be honest, the mansion parts of it are kind of boring. Okay, they're kind of like, you know, they're okay, but I definitely found myself more interested when it got to the nightmare world. Okay, and it was, you know, because you didn't know what was going to happen. It was all really weird and distorted and creepy.
Oh, so it just kind of like transitioned while you're playing to the nightmare world.
Basically, you go back and forth each time. Okay. Yeah. So, but anyways, it's a really interesting game. Didn't pay very much for it, and took a chance on it. So, it's something you'd probably like.
Okay, I'll look into this, man. Heck yeah.
Which leads into the sponsor of this video, Whatnot. I'm lucky that the Seattle area has several local retro gaming stores, but, you know, I understand that not everybody has that in their town. And I'll be honest, I don't always find what I'm looking for locally, and I will go online to do some treasure hunting. That's where an app like Whatnot really helps out. Whatnot is a live stream platform where you can buy, sell, and auction literally anything. For buyers, this is a great place to find deals on video games, both old and new, but also pretty much everything else that you would be interested in. Yes, I do love my video games, but I also collect vinyl records and the occasional Star Wars figure. What's cool is that Whatnot has that and a ton more. It's kind of crazy how big the marketplace is with this app, and it's very busy pretty much 24/7. Now for sellers, you'll have access to thousands of eager shoppers looking to buy what you're selling. The average seller on Whatnot earns around $25K a year, which works out to be about 10 times more transactions compared to other peer-to-peer marketplaces. And as a special bonus to Metal Jesus viewers, once you download the app using my link, you're going to get $20 from Whatnot to spend anywhere on their app. They normally do $15, but for my audience, they're bumping that up to $20. That $20 credit will be automatically added to your wallet and applied at checkout. But that special deal for Metal Jesus viewers is for a limited time only, so you're going to want to jump on this immediately. So, whether you're looking for video games, music, sneakers, toys, jewelry, or more, you're definitely going to want to check out Whatnot, and I want to thank them for sponsoring this video.
All right, so my next item is another big item. You're going to laugh at.
Okay.
But this is Spelunker HD Deluxe Edition.
Where do you have the room for all this stuff?
I know, dude. It's like, man, it was crazy, like bringing this here. But this is funny. This is from Strictly Limited, and I didn't really ever pay attention to this game until I saw it went on sale.
Dude, I played the original Spelunker on my Commodore 64.
Well, you know what's funny? This one, I believe you could switch between the graphics of the original and the new version.
Because it's an old game. Like I remember on my Commodore, and it was tough back in the day, but it was cool. Like it was, dude. There's like a little figure in here. Okay, wow. Yeah, and you can play 4 players co-op on like couch and online. So I was like, heck yeah, you can play online. Like excellent. So I got that for $24. It went on sale. That big box, dude. Seriously?
Yeah, I was like, I'm on it.
So I knew that they kind of rebooted the series with the Spelunker HD. I haven't played it. I don't know anything about it. However, it is what I'm interested in checking out. So, okay, for $24. Wow, that's a heck of a deal. All right, well, I have a gift for you.
Oh,
so Atari reached out and they're like, they know you like beat 'em ups.
Okay.
And so they wanted me to give this to you.
Yes.
So Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Excellent.
Yes. So that's a gift from Atari and Digital Eclipse.
Thank you so much, guys. I actually played this game recently on a live stream, and I was blown away, dude. Because I'm a Power Ranger fan as a kid. I grew up with it, so the music, the characters. I mean, yes, this game to me was freaking awesome, and I did beat it on the first playthrough because I had to go through it because that nostalgia was just kicking hard. But the game does a good job of like switching things up. Like you have the beat 'em up parts, and it goes to like a rail part. You know, it just changes things up, so it stays fresh all the way to the end. And I love that. But I had to unlock. I had to like go through it like the first time, like let's say because I wanted to unlock the Green Ranger, which is unlockable when you beat the game. That's my favorite Ranger. So got him unlocked, and I'm ready for another playthrough. So man.
And this is like a little bit of a deluxe edition here. So it's got a steelbook in there, and it's got I think some cards and collectibles and things in that. So yeah,
thank you Atari and Digital Eclipse. I appreciate you guys. That's awesome. Oh, next item here, another big box.
Oh, okay.
Blazing Rangers Limited Collector's Edition from First Press Games. So dude, so when I opened that up, man, I was blown away because this is an NES game. And not only did they put the NES game in there, they put a variation of the NES game in there. So there's 2 of them. There's a red cart and a regular gray cart. And Blazing Rangers is simple. Like it's a simple old school type game where you just go into like these houses and rescue people out of fires. Very fun, kind of like of the early Nintendo games from the 84, 85, like Donkey Kong, all that stuff. But man, the game is pretty fun, especially if you get 2 people to play it. But this collector's edition, just like, it's so much in here. I was like, dude, this is insane. I couldn't believe it. Like just the soundtrack.
The 2 different versions. That's amazing.
Yeah, man. So this like outstanding.
Wow. Okay. That's so fun. You know, when he showed up in my house, you had a tote, as well as like a travel bag. I was like, what are you doing? You know, what is all this? Now I see what all this stuff is. That's so funny, dude.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, you're not messing around. All right. Well, the next one that I'm going to show here is a regular PS5 game.
Okay.
Not a massive box.
Okay.
The Postal Brain Damage.
Oh wow! Yes, I played this, dude. This game is insane.
It's fun, and it's completely stupid and silly and over the top.
Yeah. It's. I remember there's a scene like you have to I think you have to like try to get out of your house and like you have to like unlock this your garage door. He actually like pisses on it, on the controls, and it opens up the.
Oh, dude, it's so. This is absolutely not a PC game in any way, and it's so much better for it. It's just so funny. You're right. Yeah, he pees, and I think he upgrades his pee into different types of pee and stuff. Oh yeah. And the weapons are absolutely out of control. The level design is really bizarre and kind of trippy, and but I love these games because these are the epitome of kind of boomer shooters.
Yeah, 100%.
100%. Just running around, strafing, shooting things. It was a blast.
I like how Super Rare is doing like PS5 games now too. They were doing PS4 for a while too, but I think that's kind of stopped. But I like that they finally transitioned to do PS5 and Switch stuff. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man, awesome.
Yeah, new Postal game. Is that hilarious?
Yeah, definitely, man. All right, so next game. Well, not a game here. I got the Kingdom Hearts PSP system, and I was supposed to do a trade for this, and from Mort's Garage. You know Mort, like you met him at the Game On Expo. You guys had dinner. Yeah, we were supposed to.
Yes. Okay.
We were supposed to do a trade, but he tricked me. He said, "Nah, man, I'm just gonna give it to you, man, because you really wanted it." And I was like, "Man,
wow, that
was like
that's
just
cool.
blown away, man." So, Mort, if you're watching, thank you so much, man. That was very kind of you to hook me up with this, man, because my PSP collecting, I have I kind of stopped, but there are a couple things I still wanted, and this was one of them, and I'm glad he had it. So, yeah, man, shout out to Mort's Garage. Appreciate you.
Dude, it's funny that you showed that PSP because I actually got a PSP as well.
Yeah?
So I'm going for a complete North American PSP collection, but I also wanted to get all the different models of PSP. Okay. And there was one of them that was really hard to get, at least in the United States. Yeah. So this one right here. I had to search long and hard for this. So it's the Street Edition.
Yes, dude. I remember when I think we did a PSP buying guide.
And we had to show a picture of it because these are incredibly uncommon. So this is the last PSP that Sony ever made, the last model.
Right.
And it's actually, it's kind of weird because you'll notice here, the whole back kind of opens up. That's because the battery is non-removable.
Oh, wow.
This is their... Because it's the last PSP, this is kind of like a stripped down budget version.
Right. So
that's why the buttons are touch. They're actually not physical buttons on the front here.
Well, it seems like if you actually drop this one, it would still be okay. Compared to the other PSPs. So it's a bit tougher, but
but it never came out in North America, so I had to search long and hard to find somebody who basically did have one in the US, so I wouldn't have to pay for
the crazy shipping,
all the export stuff and all that. So
dude, so with the battery being built on the inside, I feel like that's a little bit dangerous in a way because of the whole battery.
Well, that's a good point. Yeah, I mean it still works, thankfully, but you're absolutely right that the PSP is known for having the pillowy, batteries.
You just got to make sure that you keep some kind of charge in here. Or
I mean, thankfully. Pink Gorilla and some of these other retro gaming stores in our area can fix that sort of stuff. Excellent. Although I don't know if they've ever worked on one of these because, like I said, it's incredibly uncommon in the U.S. to see these. But
that's cool, man.
Yeah, so I was happy to get one.
Excellent. So you're pretty close to getting a
I only need one game.
One game.
Okay. And actually, what's hilarious about it, I already own. It's a collection because they did dual packs of the PSP, and so I already have both games. I just need the dual pack version of it. Okay. And then my entire PSP collection is complete. So I'll do a video on it.
I can't wait for that, man. Awesome.
Yeah, because some of the more collectible games and hard to find ones are not necessarily the most desirable ones.
I figured. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So next item I have here. We have a game that's very similar to Mass Effect.
You showed me this.
Everreach, Project Eden for the PS4.
You showed me this, and it's interesting for sure.
It is. It just has enough of a hook to kind of make you feel like you're playing a Mass Effect game. But
this is a Mass Effect game done if you had no budget, or a very limited budget,
or budget, or on an older system, maybe.
Yeah. Or a smaller team for sure.
Right. But it's definitely interesting. I like it. I just know people are going to compare it to Mass Effect the whole time. But what I noticed,
I was.
Yeah, I know, right? And then we noticed that the motion, the characters don't have motion capture in their face, so it's going to that old graphic where their faces kind of look like
very PlayStation 2.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But like I said, you can see that they're trying with the game. Yeah. It has enough of a hook to just keep people playing. playing because the different decisions you make in it were kind of cool. How they transitioned and everything.
And the third person shooting feels very much like kind of Mass Effect, where you're a little bit over the shoulder a little bit,
right? But make sure because the sensitivity as default it was like horrible. We had to set it back because it was like the camera was going all over the place. So once we set it to the right, like thing, it was
sensitivity good to go. Basically. Yeah.
Make sure you change that. But overall, I'm liking it. It is a German exclusive. It is not very expensive game, so I think it was around like $20-$25.
And you originally had the digital for like $3 or something.
Yeah,
right?
digital on PSN is like goes on sale for like $3, and that's how I first played the game. So I was like, yeah, let me go ahead and get this physical. So I just like having that physical format of certain games.
Yeah,
so,
interesting.
Definitely interesting game, and if you guys have played it, let me know. Let us know what you think about it.
Yeah, for sure. All right, interesting. All right, next up for me. Wow. Okay, it's the opposite of that because it's a Ubisoft game that they spent years making and probably hundreds of millions of dollars.
Ooh.
Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Okay.
So I played and beat this game in about 60 hours, and I really like this game. Okay. I really like this game. For years we've been hoping that Ubisoft would bring the Assassin's Creed franchise to Japan. It just makes sense, right? Stealth, sneaking around, and that's exactly what this gives you. But what's cool about it is there's two different types of characters that you play, and so after about 5 hours, you unlock a tank, essentially this big dude,
right,
who is a samurai, and he plays more melee. Okay. He can't do stealth at all, and he can barely climb. Well, he can do a little bit of stealth, but and you can switch back and forth between the characters at any moment, and you can do most of the missions as either character. So you're not forced to play either style, which is kind of cool. The thing I love about this game is that Japan and the way that they modeled it is amazing.
Really?
Because it's like 50 square miles, and it has a full night and day, plus it has seasons. So every about 2 to 3 hours that you play this game, and it'll transition to, like, say, spring, summer, fall, winter, and the whole map changes.
Oh, wow. So okay.
Yeah, so like in the summer it's like really hot and muggy and bright, but then in the winter it's snowy and there's snow everywhere, and it changes it completely.
So you said you put 60 hours into it. Does it take 60 hours to beat the main story, or you just kept like
that was me casually doing the main story.
Okay.
And getting an ending that I liked. However, there is there's an entire map of stuff to do. And honestly, I kind of want to keep playing it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one of those games where I want to do some more of the side missions because I was just enjoying the stealth so much in that game.
So, as far as like the endings, like you got an ending, like it has multiple endings, obviously?
Well, I don't want to spoil anything, but both characters are part of. They have their own story and they have their path to the ending. Okay, so were you pretty satisfied with the ending overall? I was actually. Okay. Yeah, the samurai I thought was really interesting. Like his whole arc was pretty interesting. Her story, not so much. It's a revenge story, which I kind of felt was just okay. Yeah. Okay. But his story was pretty cool, and so yeah. Okay, I enjoyed it way more than I expected to. Right on, dude. Heck yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right, next item here we got Fatal Fury: City of Wolves. This I think the original game came out in 1999, maybe 2000, but damn near 25 years later. We finally get a sequel to Fatal Fury Garon, Mark of the Wolves, City of Wolves. And after playing it, I was pretty impressed with it. I'm just happy to get a sequel to that game because I'm a big fan of the Fatal Fury franchise. Fatal Fury 2, one of the games that got me into fighting games, one of the first games I got good at. So I followed the series for years, and to kind of get a sequel that shows the characters after like a certain like time skip or whatever, it's pretty awesome. So I'm just really happy with this game overall. I do want more characters to come back. They didn't release some of the characters I wanted to come back from the first game, but I'm sure they'll put them in some season pass in the future. So I noticed that this does have a little thing in here for a season pass. Yeah, first season pass is free. That's how they hook you. So and then because I'm pretty sure they wanted to get these characters ready to go, but they just didn't have time because with the release date. So, So very happy. Very cool. All right, next up for me, something very different than that. It says Sanabi, I think is how you pronounce it.
From Red Art Games.
Yeah, the collector's edition of this. So this is a really fun game. Did you play this?
I did play it briefly. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, you are this guy who is, kind of going on a revenge story, and the whole hook of this game is that, and as I say hook, is because he's got this chain hook that allows him to swing around the environments. You guys are seeing the footage here. Almost like Spider-Man. Yeah. I mean, and the one thing that this game does extremely well, in my opinion, is how well the game auto connects your hook to a place that you can swing to. Okay. Because this game could easily get very frustrating, and it is pretty challenging. But the fact that pretty much the game, auto attaches to ceilings and stuff like that, or surfaces, make this game way playable. So there's definitely a lot of challenge here. I guess a lot of people like to speedrun this game, and I can see that. I could see where if you wanted to really nail down those game mechanics, it could be pretty cool. But the only thing I would warn people, though, for a indie / kind of game like this, it's incredibly story heavy. So more so than usual. Like, there's parts of this where I swear, like, the cutscene went on for 15 minutes.
Can you skip them though if you need to?
I don't think you can. Well, maybe you can. Okay. But
just in case you want to keep the flow going sometimes. Yeah,
that's a little unusual for them to put quite so much story into it. Although I did find it pretty interesting. Yeah. But
right on, dude. Okay, cool stuff, man.
Yeah.
So next game I got here is Eightman for the Neo Geo CD. Now that didn't officially come out. I bought that off AliExpress, and I first saw that game like when I was watching movies as a kid. I saw some guys playing it.
Eightman?
Yeah, I guess it's based off an anime series in Japan. But it got like someone put it on the CD.
Wow.
They didn't want to put their name out there from what I heard, so no credit, no tag. But this is like a very fun game. Very just suck you right into it, man. So
well, they did a really good job on the reproduction. I mean, if you asked me, I wouldn't know the difference between this one and, you know what I mean, because it's got the J card in here.
I didn't know what to expect from AliExpress. I'm like,
for sure. Right?
But, very cool.
All right, next up for me is a game called Afterdream.
Yes.
I was wondering if you played this.
I played it briefly, man.
Yeah, it's such a trippy psychological survival horror puzzle game, I guess is what you'd say on this.
Or like psychological,
like a psychological game.
I love the cover of it, like her with the camera. That's a cool picture.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, the camera in this game has so basically the premise is that she goes to a shrink and she's like, I'm having these dreams, they feel so real. And then you go into the dreams and you are, that's where the main of the gameplay is. It's got this really cool look. It's trippy because it's really only back and forth. Side to side. And so it's actually pretty easy to kind of explore. Like, you can't really get lost, in my opinion, because, it's easy to keep track of where you are. And then it has this mechanic where you pull out your camera, and then that exposes the other realm or whatever, these other things within the level.
Okay, so you're like, when you get to your camera, you're looking at it first person like that?
No, but it's exposed. You move the camera around on the level, and it kind of has this little area that you can see. And so almost always, if you ever get stuck in this game, it's because you just need to pull out the camera, and kind of look through it and sort of see, because it changes the environment when you do that. Just actually a really fun game.
So what would you, like, in a category, would you put it survival horror, psychological horror?
Well, you're absolutely right. It's psychological horror.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Yeah. But yeah, just a really interesting, kind of quirky game, very unique.
See, I love seeing games like these come out as physical. So I can get into this one, man. So
I think you'd like it. And I don't remember it being very long. So
okay, cool, cool. All right, next item for me. I'm pretty sure everybody got this. Here is the Lunar Remastered collection.
Right.
I would say this to any Lunar fan. This is the way to play the games now. It comes with the original PS1 version, and then you can play a remastered version of that, which I played the remastered, obviously. And the features they added to it were great. Like, you could speed up battles, because Lunar, it was a slow game back in the day, like the battles and stuff like that, and some of the load times. So this one just speeds everything up. So you could I think you have 3 speeds you could use, which really help out a lot. But I'm just happy that a lot of people are going to get to play the Lunar games now, because the collectors are really expensive for some people. So this is a lot
of people were excited about this when it came. It was all over my social media. Everybody picked up a copy of it.
And then if it does really well, maybe we'll finally get that Lunar 3. You never know. I'm still in the middle of Lunar 1. I should have beat it by now, but I keep getting like interrupted by friends. So every time I'm about to sit down and play, like, oh man, something comes up. But I'm going through them a lot smoother than I did the originals. So I can't just wait to get to the second game and beat that.
Okay.
Relive those memories.
All right, cool. Next up for me is a game called Blackbird. So Blackbird is it's a horizontal shooter. It's very similar in style to Fantasy Zone, you know, that kind of really colorful, except for this is kind of a dark, creepy version of that. Yeah, where you basically play this girl who transforms into this bird. You're cruising around in these almost kind of like not cyberpunk, but steampunk worlds or cities, and you're basically trying to take out these guard towers that are spawning the enemies. And you pick up gems like you do in Fantasy Zone, and you use that to power up for the bosses.
Okay.
And dude, I loved this game.
Yeah?
I was addicted to this game big time. I was shocked. Because the way I described it, you're like, what's the big deal? This is such a well-made game. I was blown away by it.
Well, I love this cover for it. It looks very like creepy. Like
it is.
All you need is like maybe glowing eyes or something like that.
It is. It's surprisingly weird and creepy, but yet it's a shooter, and it's kind of whimsical. But for me, it was a gameplay. Like, I was really addicted to the gameplay.
Okay.
So you'll have to try that if you're even remotely interested in shooters. This one really surprised me.
Okay, cool. I'll keep that one on the radar. All right, so next game here, Burger Time Deluxe for the Game Boy.
Okay.
I had to jump through hoops to get that for a good price. You know, I wanted to do a straight across trade, but it didn't work out that way.
Is it collectible or something?
No, not.
Maybe just hard to find sometimes.
It's just hard to find it in box. I mean, you could get the cart for cheap. I just like having my Game Boy stuff in box, and I had the opportunity. Basically, the guy, he wanted to I asked him if he wanted any games for trade. He said, "Yeah, I'm looking for He told me he's looking for Fatal Frame." So I knew someone that had Fatal Frame, and I had credit there. So I got Fatal Frame, brought it to him. He's like, yeah, perfect, man. I said straight across. He said, $30 on top. I was like, damn it. But I didn't want to argue. I came through. He was a really nice guy too, so I just did it and got my Burger Time Deluxe, which is actually a really good Burger Time game.
Is it?
Yeah. Definitely better than the original in my opinion.
I'm terrible at the original Burger
Time. It's like arcadey, so like the monsters know where you're at all the time, so you got to really be on your toes.
It's so stressful, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. But this one, I feel is more fair. So I think people should play this one. It might be on the eShop, too. I'm not sure.
I should check that out. All right. Next up for me, this is kind of an odd one here. This one, I think you kind of hooked me up with this, right?
Thanks for love.
This showed up in the mail. I'm like, Reggie, what is this?
Yeah.
So this is Nightmare Busters, the gold cartridge edition. So this is... When this video comes out, there's still a couple more days on the Kickstarter.
Right.
And so this is, I believe what you're looking at here is kind of like a prototype of what they're planning on building.
Yeah. So a little history. The game was originally supposed to come out like in the mid-90s, but the contract fell through. So it did get a release from Watermelon Games when they were still around.
Right.
A limited release there, but the game was still sought after and expensive. So now it's had a resurgence, and they're bringing it back as well, the original game, as well as a remake, a remaster. So
and a legitimate gold cartridge that works in a real system, because actually the footage you guys are watching here is me playing it that way. So
now I had to warn Jason, the game is a bit tough. You know?
He did, and he was not lying. It is, so it's a run and gun platforming game, and it's tough. It's tough, but it was fun though. It's just, thankfully, it gives you a lot of continues.
Yeah,
you know.
So like I was surprised because when I saw that Switch 2 thing.
Yeah. I saw this too, I was like, whoa.
I said, dang, I guess I gotta get a Switch and everything like
There's
that.
There's nothing in here, not even a code.
The game's not done yet, you know. So maybe we'll get a cart later. But yeah, man, just very cool that they're bringing this back. I love that this game's getting resurgence because I don't think it got his due diligence, man. Like it's like a really good game.
This packaging with this velvet here, you know, because the guy with his hat, you know. Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool. So if you're interested in it, they've got a bunch of different versions of this, from the cheap digital all the way up to like a crazy collectible one. Right. So yeah, if you're fans of this, definitely check it out.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Pix and Love. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Matter of fact, they get a fist bump for that.
Okay.
All right, guys. So next game we got here, Metalgun Slinger.
Oh, you got this in Phoenix, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so that is an expensive game in Japan. Like, it goes for a lot of money. But I think Project Retro Games knew someone who was going to do a translation on it, so they decided to make a physical for it, and that's here. It's a pretty good game. It's very old school, and like you could tell it's in the beginning days of the Game Boy Advance.
Okay.
But still a game worthy to play on the system. You know, I was very happy with it. So.
Yeah, I saw this at that expo, so that's pretty cool. Huh,
very cool. Yeah. Metalgun Slinger, definitely check it out, guys. Okay. It's a solid game.
All right, that's cool. All right, next up for me, something completely different here. I was sent this book, and I was actually very excited to read this book. So it's called The Retro Gaming Library Amiga Edition. And essentially what's going on here, two teachers during the pandemic decided to kind of fire up their old Amigas and kind of relive their youth. And in doing so, they decided to make the definitive Amiga book and all about the hardware, the culture of it, and all the video games. And what's cool is that they themselves played and captured all the footage for the games in here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's like 570 pages long.
Wow, dude.
But the reason why I was excited to read this is because I didn't grow up with an Amiga, and I didn't really know anybody who did. And so for me, I love reading about stuff that is kind of new to me, and I remember how important the Amiga was, how powerful it was, the graphics, the games, just hearing about it and seeing it in magazines and stuff. And so this is really cool. And again, this is not like a necessarily historical look at those games because they're playing them today or, in the last couple of years. And so their opinion on them is actually pretty interesting. They give you a lot of context as to maybe, what the game meant back then and also what it means today.
Yeah, and they have one of my favorites in here. I didn't know this came out for the Amiga, but I played it, I think on DOS, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Yeah.
The point-and-click one.
And often the Amiga version would be the best version because the Amiga had better sound, better graphics, and all that sort of stuff.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I know a ton of stuff in here. Stuff I'd heard of and also stuff I'd never heard of. And so they break it up into different genres. So they have adventure, puzzle, racing games, and all that sort of stuff. So it's pretty cool. This is a pretty cool book. And so you can't find it on Amazon as far as I know. You have to actually go to their website. But it's down on the screen right here. So if you're interested, check it out. I think it's like $50 or $60.
All right, cool, man. Awesome.
Yeah. Always good to get a new book in the game room.
Yeah. Alright, so next here, a game that finally got an English translation a couple years ago. Now it's a physical from Project Retro Games. Racing Lagoon.
A racing game?
Yeah.
Squaresoft.
It was like a racing RPG. This is back in the day when Squaresoft was very, known as Square Enix now. They were kind of more creative.
Oh,
they had
absolutely.
Shoot 'em Up, iHander, and a couple other games. But Racing Lagoon never made it to America, unfortunately. And I think it would have did really good because this is right before the Fast and the Furious movies took off, like the first one. So this would have been a nice game to kind of like take off the whole like racing game. But yeah, it's cool. It's racing RPG, I would say. Level up, story, and all that stuff. So very, very fun game that I think a lot of people will love, especially if you're from the PlayStation one era like me. That's my favorite era of games. You're gonna have a good time with this one.
It's funny. I originally looked at this as a Saturn game, but you're right because your PlayStation logo and the long box. Yeah, you're right. Okay. Well, that's cool.
Yeah, Project Retro, their style, they like doing long boxes because that's just how PlayStation started.
I like them. Yeah. I know.
You got to be careful with them, though, because
they're brittle.
Yeah. But yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to check that one out. Yeah. All right. You know me in racing games. So.
Oh, yeah.
All right, dude. This next game is the weirdest game I've played in a long time.
Okay.
A long time.
Yeah.
It was so weird. And Rebecca was down here, and we were capturing Nippon Marathon on the PlayStation 4. This is it's meant to be a co-op challenge game, essentially, kind of like a mini, or how do I describe this? Well, basically you are in this competition, this marathon, and the physics are completely wacky, kind of like, janky.
Right. Looking at it, and I don't know if it plays like this, it reminds me of that PS1 game called Incredible Crisis, I think it was. It's like I think that's what it was called. It's Crisis something.
Yeah, Incredible Crisis.
Okay.
This game here, at first I was like, this game is terrible, stupid, because the characters are all really weird and it's kind of like over the top and goofy. And we played it and played it and played it because it's laughs, dude. It's just like, because it's so janky, but it's also when you are winning, you get really excited. And so it's one of those things, and there's like fruit power-ups, and there's all these things that will attack you, like dogs, and watermelon falls from the sky, will take you out. It's just so bizarre, but it's also a really fun, like, group co-op game.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's not. How'd you find out about it?
I believe it was at Game On Expo, and I was asking one of the vendors, like, what do you got that's kind of weird and interesting? He's like, this is the most weirdest thing I've ever had in my store. I'm like, sold.
Excellent, dude. Right on. Okay.
Yeah, I'd love to know if you guys have played it or even heard of this game. Again, it's not a ringing endorsement. You have to kind of know what you're getting into with this. Right. But I think if you have some friends over, and you have 4 people on the screen, you will laugh with this game. It's awesome. So,
all right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, I'm down to my last 2 items here.
Yep, me too.
But I don't think I showed this on the channel before. This is a SVC Chaos, the Pix and Love edition. Comes in a snap box, like old school Neo Geo games did.
That's nice.
And that is SNK's version of the Capcom Versus series, which I know a lot of people don't feel great about. The game needs a lot more polish. It's still fun. Some characters look actually pretty cool in that game. But I didn't play it for too long because recently I think the Capcom Fighting Collection 2 came out, which you can play the other games that are like a lot better. But still, this is pretty solid.
This package is cool.
Yeah, I love that's the thing about Pix and Love. Like, they put the packaging, that they do is just amazing. So this brings back those memories of the old school Neo Geo stuff.
Yeah.
So, soundtrack, all that stuff. It keeps you
numbered.
Yeah, all that good stuff. So yeah, they keep you laced up. So yeah, Pix and Love, keep doing what you're doing. You love these shock boxes.
All right. Next up, completely different than that. That is All Hell Unleashed on the original Nintendo. So, Vista Productions. So, during the pandemic, I don't know if he's like a inspiring developer or what, but he basically was he's the one who did like the Friday the 13th game, and what he did here is he kind of did a best of. Essentially, he created one game that has all those characters in it and all their individual levels.
Yeah, because you got Candyman on here, Ghostface, Freddy, Jason, It. I think he was just called It.
Oh yeah, Pennywise.
Pinhead, Michael Myers, Chucky, Leatherface, in the clowns from Mars. Well, killer clowns from Mars.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, however, I would say there's a little note in here which is pretty interesting, and he basically admits that the other games that he made in the series, he did in a couple months. They were just kind of silly, not throwaway games, but just simple games, right?
Okay.
With this one, he decided to spend almost a year working on it, and you can see that because this is an infinitely more complex game. However, it's still pretty janky.
Is it?
So I just want people just be very aware.
I know what they're getting into.
Kind of what they're getting into here. I would say, if he's watching this, what I would recommend you do is get beta testers with this sort of stuff, because there's some things that in this game, I think if you had those kind of beta tester fresh eyes looking at your games, you would iron out a lot of the things that are kind of frustrating about this and actually ultimately make a better game. So, if he's going to continue to put a lot of time and effort into this, that is something that, even big publishers do that. You know what I mean? They have beta testers all the way through it.
Right.
Just to try to get fresh eyes and a point of view on your game. Yeah. So, but overall, though, I definitely, I love the ambition.
Yeah. 100%, man. And I just love that people are still putting games on the NES.
Absolutely. I know. And it works on the real hardware, too, which is cool.
Yeah. All right, so next game I got here is Scarlet Lead Salvation. This is a game that's like if you guys play Returnal on the PS5, it's very similar to that in the way it's like you kind of like you don't know what's happening to you. You're like being attacked by these drones, and like you're in some kind of like some kind of like military facility, and you're trying to find an escape. You have a navigator that helps you out. So the game story, like how it plays out, like there's a lot of dialogue back and forth between you and the AI companion you have. I don't know if it's for everybody because it starts out like kind of like you just don't know what's going on, so you just like thrown into the fight and you just keep fighting till you get to certain points.
And so you're meant to die like a roguelike.
And then like you get reset and stuff like in the beginning for expert. I feel like I'm a good pretty good at these type of shooters, so I wasn't dying a lot. But as I got to the next areas, like the other areas that are totally different, that's where I started dying and messing up. So I was like, damn, I don't want to get killed here because I don't want to go back. So it gets very skillful as you get further in the game. But I thought it was pretty fun.
What made you pick this up? Because I know that the roguelike is normally not what you do.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like, I think the way the trailer presented itself, like a person didn't know where they're at, and I like the way the animations were. So I was like, okay, let me try this one out. Because I didn't play Returnal. I kind of skipped out on that one. But I tried
it, and I can see the appeal, but kind of to your point, I mean, for long, you don't know what the heck's going on, so you really have to kind of be more invested in the gameplay aspect of it, and then, and the story will come, is what I've been told, but I didn't love it.
Yeah. And it was available on PS5 as well, but I feel like the PS4 versions, they were probably not going to make many of that, and I was hoping it would come with the free PS5 upgrade, but they kind of stopped that in its tracks. But still worthy to have in the collection. I think so far I got a good distance my first time playing it, and it was interesting for me. So I think people could definitely check this out. And I actually think I pronounced the title wrong. It's Scar Leads Salvation, not Scarlet. I said it earlier.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
that's cool. All right, and finally for me is a game that is a little decisive. You and I were chatting about this a while ago.
Yeah, I actually renamed it to Alligator Express. That's
Brok the Investigator is what this is called. And I did not know what to expect about this. But I was like, people had told me, hey, you might want to check this game out. It's kind of interesting. Yeah. So essentially you are a alligator investigator in this kind of futuristic world that is almost Scooby-Doo-like in its sort of vibe, in my opinion. And the big mechanic of it is that it switches back and forth on the fly sometimes between an adventure game and a beat-em-up.
Right.
And it's
how do you feel about that transition? Because that's what kind of got me.
You know, actually, I liked it. I thought it was pretty interesting. Okay. And I found that the beat-em-up was simple enough that it wasn't frustrating.
Right.
I could see if you were a fan of beat-em-ups, you'd be like, this is too simple.
Right.
You're just button mashing most of the time, right? But the adventure part of it actually is really interesting. It's funny. Like I said, it reminded me of Scooby-Doo for some reason.
Yeah, good dialogue, good voice acting.
Yeah. The characters are really interesting. The puzzles are kind of challenging sometimes, and because it's kind of futuristic.
Right.
You're not entirely sure what to do and where to go. So, yeah, total surprise with this game. I actually liked it. I think probably more than you.
I didn't give it too much of a chance because the whole transition of like you beat 'em up and then going to like Slava Cloud, like, oh god, it kind of like just hot and cold in a way. And
and to that point, there are times whenever you'll get stuck and it's like in the adventure mode, and it's because you're supposed to punch something. You're supposed to go into the beat 'em up mode, and you don't know you're supposed to break something or hit a wall, and so it's a little odd.
Yeah, but I do remember. I think hopefully I'm right about this, but it does have like an arcade mode that you kind of go through as a beat 'em up in this game, or some kind of survival mode. So if you are a beat 'em up fan, just want to kind of get to it, you go through that mode. It is co-op. I'm not sure if it's co-op online, but they try to like separate it a little bit, which is kind of cool. So for the beat 'em up fan, they could actually like get into that part more if they don't get into the regular game.
I think it was just interesting that they tried something new. Those are two genres that I've never even heard of being together. You know what I mean? Like a beat 'em up and a traditional adventure game. So definitely very ambitious. So that's cool.
So it looks like that is.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it, man.
That's it for this video.
Yeah.
But we will have another video coming in probably about a month or so that we're going to film. So lots of good stuff to show you guys.
Yep.
Where can people find you?
Oh, you can find me at the Radical One, but you also can find me on the PlayStation Ain't Dead podcast with my buddy Will, Sean, and James. We do a little live podcast here and there. And also a shout out to Grailbound Games, another up and coming YouTuber that does pick up stuff like that.
Okay.
Puts out good information on games. So yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and take care.